Hello, it is Jazzy the Video Store Sasquatch here, and we are doing our horror movie night in the cave. I got three movies for you for review. They're all pretty new. We'll start here with the newest one, which I believe is Dolly, directed by Rod Blackhurst, starring Fabian Theres, Sean William Scott, and Kate Cobb. A young woman is abducted by a monstrous figure intent on raising her as their own child. This came out in March 2006. This is an IFC movie. It had an opening of 473,000 and a $793,000 gross US. I don't believe it was worldwide. It is a Shutter movie, like I said. One of those ones that kind of they come into the theaters for a week or two, and then you can kind of finally find them on Shutter and watch them as you'd like. They're usually pretty good. This one isn't terrible. It kind of reminds you of like an older school like 80s horror movie. Not a ton of dialogue, a lot of screaming, and a lot of just kind of like showing you what's going on. It's classified as body horror too. I believe it's more this is slasher body horror, I guess, than body horror is what I would say, but it's whatever you want to call it. It's the new horror craze. Sean William Scott pulls up in this, as well as the guy from My Name is Earl, Ethan Suplee. He plays the father of the baby doll in this. I believe it's just an excuse to dress a grown man as a baby doll, kind of Leatherface style with a baby doll mask, and a baby doll dress. Yeah, I mean, if this is your thing, this is your thing. This is kind of like I said, like a more of an independent horror movie for you. I really didn't mind it. I think it was good for what it was, and it was only like an hour and 26 minutes, I believe. So it's under an hour and a half. It's a quick hitter. It's just not a lot of dialogue. So if you're not one of those fans that are like kind of more into the dialogue or that kind of stuff, is probably not your alley. You're gonna have to be a real big horror fan to really kind of enjoy this movie, which is fine. I am a really big fan movie. I did kind of enjoy it. Like I said, it wasn't terrible. It has two of my favorites really with Sean William Scott and Ethan Suplee. I think they're very good at what they do. I think they're probably better suited for comedy though. A weird story ending too. It's just a kind of a weird flow of movie too. I couldn't really put like too much into it, but I mean, this is independent horror. This is like what you kind of want. Just to see like the kind of freedom of like this what people are doing and the thought of what people are doing. And kind of make a slasher movie out of this wasn't a terrible idea. And it does remind me of, like an old school like 80s movie, like kind of like what we were just covering with the murder at the motel or whatever, the motel one that we were talking about, and a couple other ones I can think of, like the from the 80s that are just kind of more follow along and see kind of crazy, creepy shit happening without much dialogue and without much like story into it. Is Yeah, I mean, if this is your thing, I check it out. Like I said, it's on Shutter, and that is Dolly, directed by Rod Blackhurst. The second one we're going to talk about here, I was actually looking forward to watching for a while now. It is Night Patrol, directed by Ryan Prowse, starring Jermaine Fowler, Justin Long, and R.J. Seiler. LA cop discovers a local task is hiding a secret that put the residents of the childhood neighbor of the put the residents of his childhood neighborhood of his child na- of his neighborhood that he was in child. I don't know how that is a sentence there in danger. Opening at 246,000. Had a gross 372. Came out January 16th, 2026. It has CM Punk in this. Is kind of like a vampire movie, kind of like an evil spirits movie as well. These cops are definitely involved into something satanic. I don't know if they actually say that they're vampires or that they do what vampires do, because there's a lot of like different things that they do, but they do kind of feast on people, and that is part of it. But they don't have the fangs, and they have to create their own fangs, so that is part of the gimmick there for those guys. We want to say it. I think CM Punk's actually pretty good in this. I think that they had to protect the language he said a lot, too, because we're talking about like a ghetto in LA, and he says natives a lot instead of a couple other words that they probably would have used had they had a different actor. I believe I guarantee that WWE stepped in and was like, well, we can't have you saying a bunch of racist stuff and then like popping back on us. So I really do believe that they kinda held back on some of the stuff they could have said or would have said, had they had other actors. It's an interesting story, just along things that, the night patrol had murdered his father, so he finds a way to join them, and then, it kinda goes off from there because through his initiation, it all kinda spires off, and they look for, what's his face, RJ Cyler, throughout the whole movie. I mean, he's pretty good in this, and Jermaine Fowler's pretty good in this. I mean, there's a lot of people that are it's a pretty good movie, and I think it's gonna go under the radar here for most people. So if it is something that you can find and check out, it is on Shutter as well. That is Night Patrol, directed by Ryan Prowse. And the last one we'll talk about here is probably one of the most popular one on the list, The Long Walk, directed by Francis Lawrence, starring Cooper Kaufman, David Johnson, Garrett Waring. A group of teenage boys compete in an annual contest known as the Long Walk, in which they just must maintain a certain walking speed or get shot. This came out September 12th, 2025, had a budget of 20 million, opening 11.7 and a gross of 62 million. I think that this is definitely going to be a better book than movie. The movie kind of drags along, and it's kind of hard because there's only like so many people that can like be involved and then make it believable as you can kind of make stories off of. I think it would have been better off of maybe doing like old school horror cliche where maybe like we follow the first guy who's gonna die, or maybe the second guy who's gonna die or something. Someone's gonna die early instead of like a group that's gonna make it to the end because I think it kind of takes away some of the impact of everything that they're just trying to do. I think that Cooper Hoffman looks like a grown man compared to the rest of these two, and David Johnson from um, Alien, whatever, a new Alien movie. He's really good in this too. I really see him kind of coming along and being very well done. I think the two characters did share kind of chemistry. I don't know. I think there's just like a lot you could just say. Just like it's just there just isn't enough tension or like, oh man, I don't know if they're gonna make it, or oh man, I don't know how this is gonna end at all. Like it does. Like they even try to stop you to think it's gonna end one way, and then they do it another way. But really, like the whole way, you kind of tell it's gonna be that way. They don't really do a good job of hiding that. I think this would have been a way better book than movie. I think that you could probably take the tension into it, and you could kind of steer away from maybe focusing on the main people that are going to make it through all the way to the end, because it's like the only way this movie works, and then that's why this movie isn't really good. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a paradox into itself. It does not. It's not one of those ones that's really kind of going to jump at you from the screen. So I think that kind of hurts it as well. I think that it was just a miss, and it sucks. I mean, Stephen King has a lot of good movies, a lot of good books. I'm sure he doesn't care that this one wasn't well received. I mean, it had to have been well received anyway. I mean, 62 million over $20 million budget. I mean, they could not be happier with that. With three times their money back, they definitely got what they were looking for there. But it's just, I just think it falls flat, and there's just not much tension. And I wish there was more, and it would have been better. And I think that that's what kind of plays into Stephen King's strong points and what you need in a good Stephen King movie. So yeah, that's just what I am on there. I believe this is on Stars, and that is The Long Walk, directed by Francis Lawrence. And that is our movie reviews for today. I will figure out the internet situation and get it done. Like you said, it'll be within the week, and we'll write in something for the first live show that we do to kind of get it back. I think I have a plan on what to do here, and I'm just gonna kind of test it out tomorrow and see what happens. As well as we will probably looking for. I don't know if we're gonna go to a movie this weekend. To be honest with you, because I was just looking at it, I was like, I don't know if I really want to see the Beast. And like my strategy this year, like compared to last year, is to kind of pick and choose the movies in the beginning of the year, and then kind of go later into the year, as to where like I was already done with movies at the beginning of the year because it was just such a slow year and such a bad year early on, that I feel like if we kind of can get it in and we get the more better movies later in the year, then we can kind of skip some of these newer movies and go back to them as well, because we have been going back to them. We just picked up Dolly, and then there was, the other two from yesterday. So we'll working on it and get as much new as we can. But it's just like there's just not enough good new to like continue to go on. But there are some bangers coming out, so I don't really want to really take away from what's going on this year. And the movies that have came out, I've already seen, have already been way better quality than last year. So that is something to look forward to too. And I think that last year compared to this year, I think they were kind of holding on to movies and stuff like that. And I think that kind of hurt it as well last year. But that is what our plans are. Thank you guys very much for watching, and please have a good rest of your night.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.